everybody. Shoot. I get my shirt on real quick. Good morning, everybody. Just getting up and around here. I'm over here on US 491 and Old US 666. Some of you remember. Oh, what is today? Sunday? Yeah, I just woke up. Woke up about an hour ago, just hot. Couldn't understand. I was really hot. And I can't sleep very good when I'm hot, so I got up and I'm up. It's extremely cold. I don't know what's going on. So I woke up hot, now I'm out of bed, it's cold. Whew. So 1962, I believe I'm just south of Monticello. There, I'm trying to find out real quick. Some of you remember, a lot of you don't, because I don't believe I had started the channel yet, but I had made some videos. Yeah, I'm in Monticello, Utah. And or just 1 mile past it, Monticello. So anyway, not last year. Well, I guess it has been about a year, because we started the channel. The very last trip that I took in the Peterbilt, and I really do miss that truck more and more all the time. But anyway, the very last trip, very last run that I had in the Peterbilt was a load that came out of it was Texas. Yeah, I just can't remember the town. It was, man. Anyway, it was a load of wire, and so I had got up to Monticello, and I stopped at the Maverick, and I went inside and got something to eat, and then I drove up the street and I got fuel at the or no, let me back up. I was at the Maverick and I got something to eat, and I came back out and there was a big stream of blow-by coming out from underneath the truck, and I thought, well, that's not normal. It never did that before. And so anywho, and then there was oil coming out of the blow-by, and I thought, oh, cool, that's not cool. So to make a long story short, what happened just before I left out on that trip, I had just put in 4 brand new injectors that I got on a deal from Buy-Right there in Hawkinsville, and they got it from a vendor rebuilding place out of Nashville, and I got them pretty cheap. Well, so what was going on, when I noticed that blow-by and all that oil coming out of the blow-by, I pulled and shut off the motor and checked the dipstick, and she was full of oil. And so one of them injectors had let go and was filling my block up full of diesel. And here I am way out in the middle of nowheres, right? So I ran on, because what could I do, right? And I got up the road and I got some oil, and I drained the oil out and put some fresh oil filter and all that stuff. And I didn't make it very far, and it was full of fuel again. eventually went through that. One time I pulled over on the side of the road and looked and couldn't find the leak. I suspected that it was coming from the number one, and but I couldn't tell for sure. And so I made it up to Salt Lake City. I had to drain the oil a couple times, and I made it up to Salt Lake City and got to Caterpillar there. I bought some dye, and I put that dye in the motor, and was able to find that it was the number one injector. And so I bought an injector for just right at $700. Put the injector in, drained the oil a couple more times, and delivered my load, and got a load coming back to Denver. It was a load of that styrofoam insulation. Took and delivered it to Denver. But I had made a video right here on Hot US 491, Old US 666. That's when it all happened, and that was the last trip that I took in the Peterbilt before I sold it. Well, yesterday when I was coming up through Farmington, New Mexico, I was thinking about getting fuel, and it was going up pretty good. It was like last fuel I got was just $2.90 or $2.99 down there. Yeah, it was $2.99 right outside of Amarillo. So I was good to go, and I drove up through Farmington, New Mexico, and I noticed the fuel was going up. It's $3.31 and $3.33, somewhere around there. And I said, well, I was at a half a tank. I'll just keep running and see what it is when I get to Monticello. Well, when I got to Monticello, fuel 47 miles from Farmington to Monticello, I think it was. Fuel went from $3.31 to $3.79. Wow. So I was out in hours, and I drove out of town, and I parked on this exit. Well, it's not an exit, it's actually a pull out. See? Just a pull out on the side of the road. It's kind of comfy here all by myself. And anyway, I don't trust truck stops. I've had 2 trucks destroyed. One truck, they tore a whole hood completely off the truck, took the radiator out of it, just drug the trailer right over the front of the truck, just destroyed it. The truck was brand new, and destroyed. That was in '92, and I can't even remember the other one, but it was, I was asleep, and it was the very next truck that I got after that, and I was asleep down in Conroe, Texas, and I woke up to the sound of metal crunching and my truck moving, and the guy had backed his trailer all the way down the side of my truck. And so needless to say, since them days, I've tried to sleep many times in truck stops, and I cannot sleep in a truck stop because every time I hear a sound, I wake up. So I just toss and turn all night long. So that's why I always find other places to truck stops to park. Yeah, I'll park in rest areas because they have pull-throughs. And even that being said, that's not a foolproof thing, you know. Like the truck driver just cut a little sharp and off goes your hoods. And anyway, when I got here, here on 491 Old US 666, I don't know what the correlation is. besides the 666. But anyway, when I pulled out here, I washed the windows, and I noticed that I had oil on the fuel tanks. And I was like, okay. So I shut down the motor, checked the oil, and I was a gallon low. And I was like, that's not cool, because when I left the house, it was all full. And so if you add up the miles, it's like 1,100 miles. I went through a gallon of oil and 1,100 miles. Not good. So got to looking around, and it looks like I must have a blow-by restriction. That's the only thing I can think of, because where I had made that repair and put that JB weld, where I had made that repair, it's not leaking there, but it's leaking above it, and it's leaking below it, and it's also leaking around that seal on the air compressor, which that's not too big of a deal. I mean, you just pull back the air compressor and change the seal. That's not a big deal. But what I can think of is that, you know, these all motors have blow-by, but if you get a restriction, it's got to go somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. It has to get out. And so I believe I must have a restriction. I'll have to start looking around, because it shouldn't. I mean, that's just crazy that it would leak where I made the repair. Now it leaks at the top and the bottom. So, oh wow. So and the reason why I brought up the roads is that the very last run that I took in the Pete, I had that problem on this very same road, and almost the very same spot. Monticello, Utah. US Highway 491, Old US 666. And here I am, very next time I'm on this road, but in my freight shaker, I'm having another issue. So, go figure. Woo, woo, woo. Twilight Zone. So anyway, I'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. If it gets really bad, I guess I'll be making repairs before I get home. If not, I'll have to make plans to repair it when I get home. And I guess I should have got fuel back there in Farmington, New Mexico, because it looked like Utah is 40 cents more a gallon. It's got to be a taxation thing. I believe it's a blue state over here, so imagine that. Anywho, Sunday, and I don't have very good phone reception, so I don't know if I can get this uploaded anytime soon, going through all this back road stuff, but I'll give it a try. You guys have a nice weekend. Peace. God bless. Enjoy your day. I'm gonna say, and have lots of fun. And later.